I think we should end this one with a "we're sorry."
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Sean.
We're live.
Very much so.
Hi, Katie.
Hey, Sean.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really interested in today's topic because, it's a little personal. Yes, Bill.
I thought you were going on vacation.
I am
Are
tomorrow.
you packed?
Kinda. It's just a show on the road. Just the
Is it
show
really
on
a
the road.
vacation when you are
5
bringing...
shorts and a shirt, I'll get by.
I hate that men can do that. Like, sidebar, I hate... I spend hours packing for me and the baby. My husband packs in 2 minutes. Everything already coordinates. It's not fair. That's not why we're here, though.
Because there's only 2 colors.
Beige or dark blue. What else you got?
Yeah.
That's a nice part about it. Anyway, here to talk about vacations today, specifically because they can be a big productivity booster. They can be a big morale booster. They can have a dramatic positive effect on your workplace. Or they can go the opposite way of that, too. If the culture is not one that encourages this, that encourages vacations and disconnecting, you can get a lot of burnout people that aren't too happy. So wanted to talk about that a little bit today. A little bit maybe because I'm heading on vacation and I'm going to try some of these things. But also because, Bill, I know that you have your vacation set up that you missed, where you were going to go see the equinox along Machu Picchu and Easter Island, right?
Right. Yes.
I was
I
going to
remember.
walk Machu Picchu right to Easter Island.
Right to Easter. I don't think that's possible.
I can do it.
Bill can also walk on water. So.
Exactly.
I know you have your vacations coming up too, Bill. Katie,
I just had one.
you just came back.
Yep.
Sounded-
Tessa, who's also in the room, just
Sounded
came
relaxing. Tessa just came back from hers.
back. Yep. It's a lot of vacation. It's that time of year.
It is that time of year, so that's why we're here to talk about it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because as we talk about what affects job performance and general happiness at an organization, that is one of the big things. And it's not vacations specifically, I would argue, but it's an organization's mindset around them. If your organization is of a mind that you should take these, that you're encouraged to do so, and when you do so, you're encouraged to disconnect, and we'll dive more into that too, that you come back better recharged, thinking more clearly, maybe have different ideas. Your plasticity improves, meaning you're coming at problems from different angles. All that benefits you on your vacation. But as a society, at least here in America, we tend not to view things that way.
Yeah. I've coming at us today with a lot of stats. I've researched this topic and written about it in the past, and I kind of dove back into that and prepping for today. And I found a really recent HBR article.
Harvard Business Review.
Yes, Harvard Business Review article, that for the first time in recorded history, more than half of Americans are leaving vacation days unused, meaning that there are 658 million unused vacation days. And one of the quotes from the article was that Americans are effectively volunteering hundreds of millions of days of free work for their employers, resulting in 61.4 billion forfeited benefits, which I just thought, that as Americans, you hear all the time that we aren't out there taking vacation the way that other countries do, but 61.4 billion. I was like, whoa.
Well, so some of that's around the culture of a company.
Exactly.
If you fear that you're going to lose your job because you're not there, then guess what? You're not taking. But some of it I'd wonder is companies that you roll over your vacation and then you get paid for it later. That's almost like a negative incentive to not take vacation. Mm-hmm. Or I should say, it is an incentive to not take vacation because you're like, I'll get a nice bonus check later.
I know someone who used to do that. They would hang on to all their as many days as they could, saying I'd rather get the money at the end than take the time now. And I'm just, what?
Yeah, I think we probably all have known people like that, and I can easily see a financial planner suggesting you do that because get paid out at your current salary. So if you can save vacation days from, your first job out of college, save vacation days from your, first year and get them paid out in year 10, you're getting paid out way more than what it would have been worth had you taken it, right?
Yeah. I used to, and I'm sure other people do this too. I used to not here, but at a previous company, way before I had kids, I would roll over in case, I got married there and everything. And in case we had a baby, I would roll over days because you could tack it on to maternity leave. And I was like, you never know, or you have a kid and you have to go to 100 appointments. I would roll it over there for that purpose. Not a lot. I would take most days, but just a couple.
Which is why a lot of employers say you can only carry over a week or whatever finite time.
Yeah.
So to your point, Bill, you can't just have 500 days of vacation if you've been there for 20 years, right?
But you hear of some places that do let you roll over a lot. I remember my mom, when I was younger, worked somewhere, and at one point she had 45 days rolled over, and they basically HR was like, you need to take vacations, a lot of them this year.
Because they don't want to pay that out. That's a huge liability to the organization.
Right, and there are some states that prohibit companies from having use it or lose it policies. There are states where it's, you can have the policy, but it has to be clearly stated that that's the policy. And, it's funny because, as an employer, I think that's a bad thing to have, use it or lose it. But I also think it's a good thing because you want people, back to your earlier point, Sean, you want people to take vacation time in order to recharge. It's not a pure compensation benefit, and it's not like you want a cafeteria plan where people can say, oh, I'll just work 52 weeks this year and get paid more money.
Yeah.
And it is worth more to me, the employer, to have you come in and you take time off, not come in every day. So that you come back refreshed and with more, what's that word? Plasticity.
Caveat there is you actually have to unplug to do that. And how many people now are, we've talked about this in recent episodes that we all can bring our work everywhere and it affects your focus, but it also affects your ability to recharge. So if you're going on vacation this week, Sean, and you are checking in, even if it's just every morning, then you're not going to...
Well, so there's a couple things that I found out about myself, but actually, and I'll share in a minute, but one of the things that Patty McCord, to cite her again, said or shared was that they had an employee that went on vacation to, I want to say it was the Arctic. It was somewhere very cold where they used to they build igloos and camped out for a week. And this individual would always come back with another great idea for the business.
I remember this.
Or another way of solving something. And they realized that we should send this person on more vacations, right? We will pay for him to go out and take a different vacation. So he keeps coming back with these great ideas.
Well, in his case, he's presumably focusing on
deep
things of interest. Right. And, it sort of clears all the clutter away.
I'm saying it's when you take a walk during the middle of the day and you come back and you've solved whatever problem was plaguing you, or shower thoughts,
shower ideas. It's because you're not distracted by anything else, and so you're thinking about a problem that you're trying to solve, and all of a sudden it comes to you. You're starting to do deep thinking. Bill Gates is famous for this too. He takes at least a week every year, a remote island, has no internet access. Right, Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft, no internet access. Hard to reach him because he wants to just go read and do deep thinking. And that is incredibly valuable when you're trying to, especially in today's world, especially when you can be distracted so easily by our phone, to disconnect entirely from that, remove that habit from your life, and really just think about the problems, think about where your mind goes. It's almost meditative. So one of the things that I'm going to do this week, and I know this about me, I know when I'm starting to get burnt out, to throttle back a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so this can be as simple as deleting my corporate mail off my phone.
Right, I'll do that get rid of the app?
I'll do that on the weekends sometimes. I'll just remove that account and I won't even think about it then. That way I get a little bit of a break. The other thing, if you really want to go nuts with this, and for the most part I've always done this, but there's one app specifically on my phone, they say that you should also get rid of apps that make money off of gaining your attention. So I've never had Facebook or Instagram on my phone. They make money off of continual attention. I do have Twitter, and that is my go-to for if I'm just sitting there. I'm really tempted this week, and I think I'm going to try it, delete my corporate email, and literally just try to shut off and be present, be in the moment, and relax and recharge so that I can come back and work harder for Bill on the other side of it.
It's always about
You should do that. It's funny. So Tessa is our producer, and she's in the room, and she just came back from vacation, as we said, and the week before she was working on a couple of blog posts, and the day you left, you were like, "Oh, I'm just spinning wheels on this post. I'm really having a hard time with it. And I think my advice was like, then put it away and like go on vacation, because when you come back, it's going to be way easier to write. Yeah. So I feel like we all get into this, mode where you need to unplug your mind.
Yeah, I'm a huge proponent of it. I encourage my team to make sure that they do unplug and recharge. I think that what we were talking about earlier is there's this societal pressure in America. Mm-hmm. There's a cultural pressure in certain companies to, even if you're going to take it, let's go past that step that we were talking about, which is some companies kind of put the pressure on not to take it at all, right? Right before we started recording, Bill, we were talking about investment banks. They encourage 100-hour weeks, and it's really tough to get vacation up until a certain point in your career, and then it's different.
Well, I was going to say, but although they're, way off topic here, but they're, traders are required to take at least 1-2 week vacation a year where they're unplugged. And that's more of a protecting the investment, making sure that there's no fraud or other bad stuff going on. But yes, although I think that, a lot of the hesitancy to take vacation among Americans is more self-inflicted. It's like, I feel like I can't do it. Not that the company's telling me not to or implying that I shouldn't. I just feel like if I go away, I'm going to come back and it's going to be worse.
I have to go through my inbox.
Right.
Who's going to take care of these things? And by the way...
And I think a lot of people also like plan it late, so then you're not doing the prep and the legwork you need to be able to leave if you don't have a job where there's someone who's just going to come in and fill in for you.
The contrast, too, there is in a lot of European countries, which are often cited for this, they just shut down for August.
Yeah.
So if everybody else is shut down, guess how easy it is to be? It's like Christmas around here, between Christmas and New Year's. It's quiet.
Right.
It's easy to get away then, right? Nobody's bombarding you with messages.
Or this upcoming, not this week, but next week, the 4th. Like, or the way it falls this year. I've heard of a lot of companies are, I don't know if they're actually shutting down this week, but like this week and next week, I know a lot of people who are just doing a 2-week stretch of vacation.
So I think that's a manufacturing thing, which, is pretty common around 4th of July and around Christmas.
Yeah.
They just shut it down because so many people want to take that time off.
Yeah.
It's easier to shut down the business than to try and
accommodate everyone's schedules.
Sort of stitch something together to keep things open. Mm-hmm. But they can, manufacturing, if that's all you're doing, is easier to get away with that versus anything that where you have customers or clients.
Asynchronous. You don't have to be all doing one thing at one time. Mm-hmm. But it's so let's move past that part where I think you're right. So let's just say there's no corporate pressure to not take a vacation then. And to your point, then we put that pressure on ourselves where when we're away, we're like, let me just check this email. Let me just respond to this. This is easy to do. But what you don't realize is every time you're switching like that, you're in a relaxing mode, sitting on a beach, ding, email comes in, right? You're putting your mind back in that stressful mindset, or you're thinking about something other than relaxing for a moment. When we know for a fact the best thing you can do is actually just relax and then come back to work more recharged.
So we've done this one thing on our vacations. We haven't really done it as well in recent years. It started on our honeymoon. We would keep our phones in the safe in the hotel room because it was like we mean unplugged, and we gave ourselves like one 20-minute stretch to check whatever you wanted to check when we got in, like before dinner or something, and brought our real camera for photos, so there was no excuse to bring our phones. And it was, obviously it's your honeymoon, but like it was the most relaxed vacation ever. And the subsequent vacations that we took the same approach with, likewise, like they were very relaxed, and I should make a mental note to myself to do that more often because recently we haven't, but...
It's the Bill Gates theory. If you go somewhere where you can't be reached or you choose not to be reached, you're going to focus on what's present and happening at that time.
Yeah.
Not what's going on back at work. I can't believe I got to dive into an inbox full of things, right? Which that in and of itself is probably worth a whole podcast, how to better manage your inbox, because we get inundated by, the inbox is your to-do list. We get inundated by other people saying, I need you to go do this, go do it. And so,
even if it's not like you don't email, like when you know your employees are on vacation, like you, Sean, as a manager, don't email. But even without that, like there's either other people in the company or even just all the marketing, emails that we all get.
Right. But what you find is that if you're out, especially the longer you're out,
that's true.
People find a workaround. They'll be like, oh, Bill's out this week. like every other week.
He summers in Bali.
But they'll be like, hey, Bill's out this week. I got to keep these things moving forward. Bill's normally involved. Guess what? I'm going to keep this moving forward. I'll catch him up when he gets back. Or conversely, I'm not going to move this forward because Bill's not here, so it's going to wait until he gets back.
Or you move it forward without me because I'm always on vacation apparently
in Bali.
In Bali, but you're copying me, so that I have the whole chain of emails in my inbox, so that I have the history, even though I wasn't here. But the flip side is now I'm in Bali, and it's like my phone
and
is
now you
blowing
have
up.
Because you're being CC'd.
Right.
So rather,
and all the replies, not just Sean's email, but all the replies to it, the whole thing. And I don't know that it's just
I'm just keeping you in the loop.
I'm just keeping you in the loop,
Yeah.
and I'm just sending this to you as a courtesy for when you come back.
That's up to you on how you're managing that. If you are fully disconnecting, then I'm just copying you. So when you come back, you can catch up.
But then Bill, just because someone was like a courtesy copy, keeping you in the loop, then you still have to go through 30 emails about one topic when you get back. Whereas I feel like if someone really thought it through, they would just forward you. Here's the chain. Here's what you missed when you were out.
Right. And I'm more the type to, do the clear the emails once a day or something like that, because the rate they come in, if I'm gone for a week, I'm going to come back to 500 emails.
Sure.
Most of which don't matter anymore by the time I get to them.
That's so true. Speaking of that, is it Ariana Huffington who first started kind of publicizing that when you're on vacation, like she would put in her out of office, like I'm out of the office, everything else that goes into your out of office, your email will be deleted. So if you want my attention, email me on Monday when I'm back. And she would literally just go through and delete all.
It's pretty nice if you're Ariana Huffington.
Right.
True. But I did that after maternity leave. I deleted everything. I filtered for HR things. I filtered for Jeff, our CEO. I filtered for you, which you weren't emailing me because I was on maternity leave. But any company-wide things I needed to know. And then I just deleted everything else.
You deleted everything from me because I was probably on vacation the whole time.
You were in Tahiti last year.
4-hour work week, Bill. 4-hour work week.
That's right.
Outsource everything. No, so we're talking about a lot of ways to better manage it, but what happens if you're in a company where this is the pressure you feel? Are you arguing, Bill, that it's self-imposed, and if you tune out for a week, you won't experience negative ramifications, or?
What do you mean by tune out?
Tune out meaning if you go on vacation, you shut everything down corporate-wise.
What about sales roles? I mean, a week shouldn't make a difference, but if you're, like those types of, you hear of those types of roles, like people saying, I can't just shut down for a week. Like I'm in a key point in the relationship with a prospect or whatever.
Right. I mean, I think that salespeople often have, like a backup plan, a contingency plan, have their manager babysit.
True. That's true.
But they're usually not fully unplugged.
Yeah.
But I think that the real issue is, like, what does our audience, what do the HR people think about this, and how do you get the most out of your employees vis-a-vis a vacation policy? And that encouraging people to take vacations, it sounds like, according to
according to all my stats,
experience, even
that I haven't even thrown in.
You don't even need the stats. You just have to sort of think about your own experience,
your personal experience.
Yeah, that going on vacation and unplugging as much as you can feels bad during that week, or feels like it may be bad during that week, but it actually feels good. And then when you come back, you perform better.
I have a stat for this. Vacationers experience an 82% increase in job performance. This is a Bloomberg article. Yeah, that's the key stat there.
And people who take 2 weeks of vacation a year are a third more likely to receive a raise or a bonus.
Yes.
Within a 3-year time period versus those that don't. And then people who take more than those 2 weeks actually have a 2/3 chance of receiving a raise or a bonus within that same time period.
Yep.
So we know this. We know that when we go away, we come back, we recharge, we're in a better spot. We know we're more creative. We know we're more thoughtful. We know all these benefits come with it, and still, and this could be just generally an addiction thing. We are addicted to our smartphones, and we are addicted to our ego, that as long as I'm still giving my take on this, people are still going to come to me for it. And I need to stay in the loop because they're coming to me.
Well, I think it's interesting. I hadn't thought of it that way. I take it a step higher or to the side. We're addicted to feedback and we're addicted to being connected.
Right.
You know, and it's not
the
just...
smartphone mentality is all about like the next
it's
thing,
like I need to be connected to the office, just like, kids need to be connected to Fortnite. I need to be connected. I need to be doing something at all times because if I disconnect, no longer part of that community.
But it probably also
true.
is like a top down, like whatever, like you, Sean, you're my boss. You have set a precedent from day one that like if you're taking a day off, if you're taking time off, whether it's a week, whether it's one day, whether it's the afternoon, unplug, don't respond, and if I am responding, you'll be like, get off your email, like go.
And there's times I'm bad about that though. There's times I personally am bad about disconnecting when I'm on break. And I've learned that lesson every time.
Yeah.
So I'm actually smart about it now. But I want to go back to Bill's Fortnite comment because that means he's been researching it more. That means he's been practicing flossing. And that means he's going to do it on stage in a zebra suit at CompCon, where we just announced Stan Dunlap as a keynote speaker. Stan is the head of Total Rewards at Salesforce. He's going to be talking about their comp philosophy as well as their pay quality. I can't wait to see you.
And we have a code. We have a code for listeners. They can get their ticket for $99 if they use code Dunlap, DUNLAP on compcon.com by July 4th. That's the only caveat. If you want to get your ticket for $99, use code Dunlap by July 4th.
I feel like we need a code Zebra.
We can do code Zebra maybe. Next time.
Isn't that a movie? No, Ice Station Zebra.
What?
We're
off topic. No,
wait, you forgot to declare that a shameless plug, Sean.
Shameless plug. Hashtag shameless plug.
But I think it's sort of a false sign or a false excuse to say the boss doesn't unplug. And I go back to our favorite, Mad Men era. The boss is always available on vacation. Often it's not available to everyone. And back then it was you go to the secretary and say, I need to get a hold of Sean. I have this question and it can't wait. Mm-hmm. And the secretary would make the choice of whether or not, to connect you with Sean or to have Sean reach out to you or whatever. But the boss was always available. It was the rest of the people that were able to disconnect because once you left the office, it was hard to get you. There was no email or texting or Slack or anything like that or, cell phones. And so
they
the
have
rest
to call
of
your
us
house
are
or
now,
come to your house
right.
in the middle of the night.
Knock, knock, knock. But the rest of us, were not accessible and now are. And I think, and so now we look at, it's like the boss was always available. The boss is available. I should be available. I can be available.
But I think you could disconnect more easily than even just on your drive home at night, right? You didn't take your work home with you, whereas now it's literally a push of a button away. And we're addicted to that. The dopamine hits that we get from those triggers when we check our email, see something's in there, respond to it. It makes us feel good. All this is designed around that. That's what Facebook's designed.
Does it really make it, it makes me feel anxious. Not always, but
it can when it becomes overwhelming. But when the Instagram, Facebook, those things, when we hear a ding, when we interact with somebody, when we get an email, it's all dopamine hits. It's like, oh, there's something for me. Let me check, right? It's like a prize. It's this little reward. It's the gamification of everything. So to be able to disconnect from that entirely is actually quite hard now, but it's way more beneficial if we can do it. So maybe the boss is always available. And one of the things that Katie mentioned too, the sales team, their incentives, the boss's incentives and a sales team's incentives are aligned around being that. Sales can, when deals aren't moving through, when it's that quiet time of the year around the new year, when it's July 4th and everything's shut down, that's good times for them because they're not going to be hearing from their buyers anyway. The boss typically tends to be incentivized around a long-term value of this company, so they're incentivized that way too. For regular everyday people, I think we should encourage this and actually educate around the effect that smartphones have on us when we go on vacation and to literally just delete your email.
Well,
lock your phone in the safe.
Or lock your phone in the safe.
I just want to be clear that the boss now has that problem too, whereas before the boss had a human filter,
structured amount of time too,
right? That was controlling the flow of information, and now that role doesn't exist nearly as often, and the ability to reach around and get to the boss without going through the gatekeeper is much easier. So they're having a hard time unplugging too.
Everybody is.
How do we get our employees to unplug and be, on vacation when they're on vacation so that we get the benefits of...
I mean, do you set a minimum amount? Like you get you either get unlimited or you get your max amount of vacation days that you can take. Do you then have to monitor, or do you have to set a policy that okay, we have a limited PTO here at Pay Factors. We don't have any sort of policy that says okay, you have to take X amount of days off with no cap. But I've heard of more and more organizations instituting that because, now we're getting into unlimited paid time off, but because people just don't take enough.
Well, it's the same incentive either way that we were talking about earlier. Even if you have a fixed amount of vacation time that you're quote unquote guaranteed, but you pay that out and people don't take it, you're incentivizing them to not take it. Same with unlimited, unless you're either it's culturally acceptable to take a certain amount of time off, or you say it's unlimited, but you have to take a certain amount of time off, or it's unlimited and here's $1,000 for you to go take a week off anywhere you want. Whatever it is, you need to make sure the incentives are aligned there so that people are actually taking the time off and not feeling that continual, I need to be at work, I need to be at work, I need to be at work, I need to be connected to work, I need to be always responding to something.
Well, there's a communication issue too, which, the HR people can help with, which is communicating to the managers and to the staff that vacation is good, not bad. Vacation is helpful.
To take their time.
Those people should reach out to Katie and ask for statistics. So
I have a whole lot of them.
I have no doubt Tessa's throwing these in the notes.
And but also making sure that people plan vacations. I've, to be clear, never seen this, but in January, do you have all your employees schedule vacations? They can move them, but just put them down. And, sort of the good planning people will put them down and stick with them, and others will move them around.
I guess that's what I was saying earlier, is that I feel like a lot of the stress that we feel is almost self-imposed, not just because we are checking our phones because we're addicted to them, but also because if you're not planning for a vacation until 2 weeks before the vacation, then most likely, unless you have a unique role, most likely you're figuring out what you need to do to kind of get stuff done before then,
to sneak out, right?
Yeah, if you're that's gonna stress you out. That's like packing the night before, you're gonna get
recording
stressed.
a podcast the day before you have to leave.
Yes. Or coming in the office when you should have taken the day off.
In the use it or lose it world, you get a lot of people, and I'm sure everybody out there listening has had this experience or seen it. People come into sort of get to Thanksgiving-ish and start going, oh no,
oh, shoot,
I've got 2 weeks of vacation I have to take. And it's like, we've got the long weekend of Thanksgiving, and then it's like the mad rush to get through year end. And you have, Christmas, whatever vacation days or holidays you have at that point in time. And it's like, I can't afford to take 2 weeks off, or my boss, that's where the company or the boss or whatever, has that, can't afford you to be gone.
Yeah. But had you planned for it in advance, then you could have planned timelines around that, right?
Right. And maybe, taken 1 week in the summer or in, in the early fall and then a week around the holidays or whenever you want, and planned it ahead so you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So takeaways from today's podcast are plan, but
communicate.
As an HR person, communicate the value of a vacation to managers, to employees, to executives. There's a ton of stats that'll back you up there. But then probably also educate people broadly, educate your employees broadly on, A, this is okay to take vacation and not be reachable, or set your times when you might be, or however it might work for your organization.
Help them figure out how to be unreachable.
And then educate them on the negative habits of continually trying to respond to email while you're on vacation, because then people will just treat it like you're in the office, and then you're going to get upset that you have too many emails that you're responding to on vacation when you should be present and relaxing, because we know that that'll bring back better creativity, plasticity, energy. We know you will be a better, more productive, more thoughtful employee on the backside of this. So you should take it, and here's what you should do to unplug and recharge while you're there.
And as with a lot of, company-provided benefits, I think as an employer, you get more value out of vacation if you make people or encourage people to take it and actually take time off and actually rest, relax, and recharge, then they really appreciate the benefit of having time off.
So the moral of the story here is, Sean, this week, go sit on the fine beaches of Philadelphia and
what up, Philly?
and have a pina colada in one hand. And I don't know.
Where am I doing this? Yeah, this week I will do my best. All right, so to wrap up, communicate the value of it to employees, executives, managers. Communicate to everybody in your organization of the importance of doing this and how to do it. And go check out Machu Picchu with Bill.
And Easter Island.
And Easter Island. You can see the equinox. It shines just right that time of year. Just
perfect. Right. Everyone's welcome.
All right, well, hopefully this was beneficial today. We'll be back post-vacation. We'll dive more into comp strategy. We'll dive more into a few other topics that are coming up, especially as a result of CompCon. And if there's anything you want to hear, email us, coffee@payfactors.com, because clearly Bill is here for your entertainment. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for tolerating us. Enjoy your vacation if you're heading anywhere this July 4th. And enjoy the summer. De-stress, unplug, recharge, floss in a zebra outfit on a beach with a colada.